titled my message, God's New Beginnings. Now, no one knows exactly what 2021 will hold, yet I think this is something that we can say applies to every single year. We end an old year, we face a new year, we have no idea what that year might hold. This past year, I lost 3 very dear friends, people who were very close to me. In fact, one of them, Mary Volmack, was in her 90s, and she was one of the first believers to disciple me at the place where I worked. She used to hold Bible studies, and she helped me and discipled me as a young, struggling Christian. And I thank God for her life. So I think many of you and some of you have had loved ones and friends pass away, some from COVID-19, others from natural causes. But no one knows what to expect in any given year. It's unpredictable. And every year ends, so many of us, most of the people on the planet, we all wish each other a happy new year, prosperous new year. May things go well with you in the new year. Of course we mean well. We want things to go well with people. I think it fits in with what Jesus said, that to love your neighbor as yourself. You wouldn't wish anything bad for someone else that you would wish for yourself. So I think it fits in with that idea, that principle of Jesus, that we love others as we love ourselves. And for many people, the 2019, that's going back a year, was terrible. And I'm sure they wished that 2020 would bring something better, better opportunities, better health, better whatever it is. And we hoped for something better. But we all got something worse. COVID-19 ambushed everybody on the planet. The Bible provides us with plenty of guidance about everything affecting our lives, including our future. And on this last day of 2020, God is saying to me, and I hope He's saying the same to you through the prophet of Jeremiah, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future. And God plays His cards openly with us. He tells us He has good things planned for our future, but we must trust Him. Now we have to do something to discover God's plans for our lives. Otherwise we'll never experience His plans, the plans He has in mind for us. And in verse 12 to 14, He explains the one condition that you and I must fulfill in order to experience His plans for us. He says, then you will call upon me and come and pray to me, and I will listen to you. You will seek me and find me when you seek me with all your heart. That's the condition. All our heart. There's a story told about a farmer who once wanted to sell one of his best cows. And of course, a lot of the other farmers in the area, they knew this cow and they knew it was a good producer. They came to bid on this cow. And they all asked the same question. What is its butter production? What is its milk production? And the old wise farmer, he gave them all the same answer. He said, she's an honest old cow, and she'll give you all the milk she has. And they had to buy the cow on that basis. And you know, commitment is being honest with God and giving Him all we are and all we have every moment of every day. Now, I wouldn't be so presumptuous as to suggest that God promises us calm waters in 2021. I expect some turbulent waters myself, whatever they might be. I expect them. Why? Because I've had them this year, the year before, and every year that I can remember. So I don't expect 2021 to be any different. It's going to be a mixture of joy, sadness, disappointments, some things accomplished, some things not accomplished, some gains, some losses. That's what I expect, with God guiding my life in the process. And for many years, Robert Spear, who for many years guided the missionary work of the Presbyterian Church in America many years ago, he died a long time ago. He was a great man. You should read some of his books, especially his Gospel of John and The Man Jesus. These are great and helpful books. You could probably find them, the PDFs, on the internet. He said his philosophy of life was to trust God, to plan for the best, to expect the worst, and to take what comes. You know, that's not a bad approach to life. To trust God, plan for the best, expect some problems, and some big ones might come your way, and take what comes, whatever it is, because God is with you in it. And I don't want to minimize the tragedies and hardships of 2020 for anyone. I think it's reasonable to say that 2020 was not the end of the world, but it was the end of some people's hopes and dreams and plans. Tragically, it was also the premature end of some people's lives. For millions, it was the end of financial security. But none of these things, as serious as they are, can defeat us. They might momentarily knock the wind out of our sails, but like Paul, we who also trust in the living God can confidently say, we are hard pressed on every side, but not crushed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. We are persecuted, but not abandoned. We are knocked down, but we are not knocked out. And Paul said this because he knew that we have this treasure in jars of clay to show that the all-surpassing power is not from us, but from God. To say that times are tough right now is the understatement of the century. But we must resist the temptation to throw in the towel when the going gets tough. We must also resist the temptation to be angry or to throw our toys out the cot, or to find a scapegoat on whom to blame all the present ills of the world. Conspiracy theories flourish in times of uncertainty and world crisis. And in their quest for answers, some people get their signals crossed. They get their wires crossed. They dot the wrong I's and cross the wrong T's. Or they lend their ears out and listen to the wrong people who themselves are confused. And they try to construct fantastic stories about why some disaster has happened. There's got to be a conspiracy. Someone's behind it. There's a plot. Don't believe it. These are constructed stories out of people's imaginations. People who construct these kinds of stories wouldn't last 5 minutes in a court of law, where real evidence is examined and tested. Those conspiracy theories would simply collapse under that stringent process of determining what is real evidence and what isn't. Now, I've heard many of these conspiracy stories. None of them are convincing to my mind. Difficult times are confusing and we don't have the answers. And sometimes it's hard to keep the faith and to see God's care for us amidst these difficulties and the pain that we experience and the confusion. But He is here with us, assuring us that difficult times do not mean the end of our life. God never plans an end to our story. He plans new beginnings. In every set of circumstances we experience, whether good, bad, or indifferent, that provide God with the opportunity to create something new in us, something new for us, something new with us, and something new through us. There are 3 passages, some scriptures that I want to share with you that I believe will steady us through 2021 and help us discover God's new beginnings, and 2 from Isaiah and 1 is from Jeremiah. God said through Isaiah 42 verse 9, "See, the former things have taken place, and new things I declare. Before they spring into being, I announce them to you." God is always busy creating new things out of circumstances, no matter what those circumstances are. Isaiah 43:19, God assures us, "See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the desert and streams in the wasteland." Did you see the contrast? A way in the desert. Of course, that desert is a trackless place. You go in there, you don't know where you're going. You're lost, you'll die. God says, "I'm making a way through the desert." And streams in the wasteland. Something to keep you going, to refresh you, to strengthen you. We don't know what 2021 holds. And of course, the other passage is in Jeremiah 29 verse 11, where God says, "I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future." Now, we don't know what 2021 holds. What we do know is that God promises never to leave us in the lurch. He gives us this assurance in Isaiah chapter 43 verses 2 to 5, where He says, "When you pass through the waters, I will be with you. When you pass through the rivers, they will not sweep over you. When you walk through the fire, you will not be burned. The flames will not set you ablaze. Since you are precious and honored in my sight, do not be afraid, for I am with you." Even in the midst of our turmoil and uncertainty, we can discover and experience God's presence, His new beginnings, and His plans for our lives. And as we prayerfully trust the Lord with all our heart through each day in 2021, we'll experience how He calms our nerves and keeps us steady through His love, His grace, and above all, through His peace that Paul assures us passes all understanding. God bless you. Take courage. Take hold of God. 2021 may bring what it may, but God is with us. Shalom.